There was a moment in my recent reflections that, as I was working through some of my value questions and reflection questions for the year, a common theme popped up when it came down to the pain that I've experienced in my life. And it's not just about what happened to me. It would be very easy to get stuck there. But what really bothered me was how often I pushed past what did not feel right in the first place. Hi, my name is Tiffany, and in today's video, I want to share 5 questions I asked myself when I stopped abandoning myself. So, these questions really helped me to get honest about where I was overriding myself and where I needed to stop negotiating my inner knowing. And so, kicking things off here, question number 1: what did self abandonment actually look like for me? And this question is important because if you don't know what it looks like, how do you even begin to start remedying that? How do you begin to start remedying that within yourself? And so for me, it looked like knowing in my gut something was wrong, something didn't feel right, something felt off. And I still chose to push past it anyways. And every single time I paid for it. It doesn't matter if it was big, it doesn't matter if it was small. It cost me in some type of way. It might have cost me money. It might have cost me time. It might have cost me both. And some might have even been in just how being in a choosing to be in relationships with some people cost me unnecessary hardship. Because if I would have listened to that inner knowing, that that ping that said, wait, this isn't going to turn out how you think it is, I wonder where I would be today. But all of that to say, all of that in a lesson, but it cost me my self-worth. And if it didn't totally cost me my self-worth in some type of way, it definitely made me question my reliability on myself, my own judgment. And if I couldn't look out for my best interest, who can I trust to do it for me? Right? So I had to start listening. And that's not always easy. Sometimes you feel like you're being crazy. But I think we all have a moment in time where you're like, you know what, I'm just, even though this might seem crazy, I'm going to follow my gut. I'm going to follow my instincts. And how did that pan out? How did that pan out? Even more recently, shopping. Something in me told me to get this other size. I was like, no. Mm-mm. All the rest of these same style that I have in this article of clothing are the exact same size and they all fit the exact same way. Did I listen? No, I did not. No, I did not. And when the order came, tried them on. Did it fit? No, it did not. And that moment came flooding back to me like everything in me told me to get this other size. Cost me time, money. Now I've got to go back and return it and do the whole thing. And now at the end of the day, I don't even want it anymore. I don't even want it anymore. So I'll leave that there. Question two. What are the early signs I'm about to override my inner knowing? That nudge within me that says stop. That sensation you get in your body where you're like, ooh, I need to take a pause. That kind of like tension and tightness you feel when you're trying to explain away something or rationalize yourself around the mountain. Or the very real uneasiness of crossing a boundary. And there is nothing like crossing a boundary, your own boundary that you put in place for a reason. That that type of betrayal cuts deep when you cross your own boundary. Question number three. What boundaries now protect my integrity, not my image? Saying no. I am in a saying no season. I'm in a saying no season, especially if it no longer aligns with who I am as a person. There was a time where, I chose to maybe where it was more acceptable for me to hang around people's places and things that, I may not have been partaking in or in, other people might have. And that's cool. That's you. Do your thing. But I'm in a season where I no longer align with that, even. And so, no judgment. People are allowed to be exactly who they want to be. And I'm going to allow people to be exactly who they want to be. But I'm also going to be exactly who I want to be without apology. So if it seems mean, looks mean, I think it just boils down to people coming to the realization that you're no longer just going to appease. And so when you're no longer appeasing people, when you're no longer people pleasing, it can seem mean and it's not mean at all. You're just honoring yourself. And when I'm choosing to honor myself, I live in a space where I can't, I cannot allow myself to get in my head about what other people think about me. That is their prerogative. No over explaining, communicating clearly and directly. Letting my yes and my no carry weight. Question number four. What does choosing myself require in real life, not theory? Running everything through my inner filter. No compromising on core values. Being honest about my real needs and not being afraid to walk away from things that do not provide that need or are in alignment with those needs. It's not about approval. And question number 5. What line will I never cross again, even if it costs me? Overriding my gut. Still a work in progress, I see, but overriding my gut. Why do I do it to myself? Why? That I used to think it was, just your gut instinct, but I know better. I know it's the Holy Spirit being like, hey, what you doing? Hey, I'm trying to help you out here. So listening to the Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. No longer am I going to be performing for acceptance. It is what it is. You can take me, you can leave me. No longer accepting crumbs. Mm-mm. I'm going to show up in all of my fullness. And so if you choose to show up in your fullness, if we're going to be having this exchange together, whether that is platonic, romantic, whatever it might be, the breadcrumbing, accepting just the bare minimum from people, absolutely not. Or in that same bucket, trying to convince someone of my worth. If you can't see it, I can't help you. I'm not an optometrist. I'm not an optometrist. So, do with that as you will. And I say that and would very well expect any other self-respecting person that if I were showing up in their lives that way, to have the same reaction. And if it requires self-abandonment, the answer is no. No. I choose me. I choose me. I got to put me first. So, and all of this, it wasn't about becoming a harder person. It was just about becoming honest with myself and honest with my others by honoring myself. And so I would encourage you today, please take these questions with you. In 2026, we are done self-abandoning. We're going to listen to that inner knowing because it always serves us well when we do. And so here on this channel, we are learning to lead ourselves well so we can serve others better. Thanks for being here, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.